Hello, team, and welcome to episode 41 of Creative English Small Person Talk. Yes, it is that week that terrifies all the parents out there. It is Children's Week here in Brazil. I remember when I used to live in the US, I was very jealous of my Brazilian friends who had Children's Day and Children's Week. I would say, why? We have Mother's Day and Father's Day. Why no Children's Day here in the US? But part of life. And to all the parents out there, good luck. I hope you survive. But team today, besides talking about these small little people, we will be also talking about the smallest of talks. And team, I know small talk is horrible. Very few people enjoy it. Maybe if you're a salesperson, you might enjoy it, but most people don't. And me personally, I never considered myself very good at it. I guess I've learned to speak inside of this square, but in real life, I was kind of awkward. And I think it's a skill we can train like most others. And I have a few tips for you to improve your small talk in English, because if you're speaking to someone in English other than your study buddy, you might not be too familiar. And to get to the big talk, you need to go through the small talk. And it's part of the dance. I'm sorry. So I'm going to give you some tips that might help you. And here we go. So team, I started off with a meme. Yes, Luke, no more questions. Oof. So now I kind of understand why. But we actually start off with this quick video from Vanessa Von Edwards. She is the person who I consider the one producing the best communication content online at the moment. Great for people talking in this square. I think that the tips she gives are modern for this kind of world, and most of these communication books, tips, tricks, and hacks were from the pre-pandemic online migration. So I have really liked her stuff. Now, some questions. What's a situation that demands small talk? Maybe you're out at night and you're meeting somebody and you're interested in them. You start an interview. Usually there's a second or two of small talk before you get to can you tell me a little bit about yourself? If you arrive early at a meeting, if you arrive early to class, you can have some small talk with me. How was your week? And my students kind of hate you. Why are you asking me this? But so lots of places, people you run into in the elevator, your neighbors. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at small talk? Yeah, 4 in real life. I'm not good at it. I'm not going to talk to you unless I have to type. Maybe I spend my social battery during the week, but no, I'm not the best. What's your go-to question to get the conversation going? With my students, I like to, what have you been working on? And the only thing that I think we associate work too much with what we do to get paid and not like what we are focusing on. So I've already explained to my students that I'm asking what are they pumped for and motivated for. And let me see any other good one. Yeah, I think that's the one that I use the most. Maybe one that I enjoy is, what's the smallest thing that made you happy today? And I remember this started because I would drop the kids off at school, and then on my route back home, there is a guy, I have no idea who he is, but he walks a little chubby French bulldog with the tongue like this. And it always makes me happy when I see this dog. So, I start my day happy. It's like, there's the dog. So that's something that makes me happy. But what's the smallest thing that made you happy today is another question that I enjoy. But your expression of the week is your go-to. And your go-to is your automatic. For example, KFC or Popeyes are my go-to restaurants if I'm ordering food. But if I go to a bar to grab a beer, my go-to place is Conveniência Magnata, because my friend is the owner. What's your go-to exercise in the gym? I like the incline bench press for chest, that type of thing. It's your automatic. Now, our first activity is called High-Low Buffalo. And this was introduced to me as an icebreaker, but I like to think of it as preparation. if you are going into a social setting where you might need to talk to people, you can prepare your high, your low, and your buffalo. And what are these? Your high is about something that you're excited about. And why? You can kind of give the other person energy, because when I ask a question and it's something that my students are interested, they light up. You can feel it. The conversation gets better, the class gets cooler. So by sharing something you're interested in, something that you're excited about, A, the other person, maybe they get excited about your thing too. That's awesome. Or B, maybe they will feel comfortable sharing something they're excited about. Either way, you'll get the conversation going quickly. B, low. And I don't mean something like horrible and sad, but something that has been challenging, something that you haven't quite figured out, because by sharing something like that, the other person will empathize, release that oxytocin. Well, this person's opening up to me. Maybe I can help, or maybe they will share something. But either way, you will build your rapport, your relationship. Number 3, the buffalo. The buffalo is just anything that the person will remember, something weird. And throw one of these out there. You get that lull, that pause in the conversation, and you'll get the conversation going. And this is called conversational threading, which is where you give some line, I guess, to see if you can get the conversation going. So this is a form of trying to move the conversation forward. Next one, follow-up questions. So this is something that I definitely use with my high school students. I would recommend this if you have, for example, a spouse or a friend or a boyfriend, girlfriend, child who they do not want to help you with your English practice. And you say, let's practice English. Like, no, you take grandma to jiu-jitsu. And that's not the right way to start, because you are already offering them a way out. The better way to do this is to start a closed question. For English purposes, or at least for me, I think this is a closed question, but something that can be answered with one word. A yes or no question, when, where, these questions I can answer just easily. Why do we start with this? Because it's like you're rolling the ball and you're making it so easy for them to kick that they can't help it. It's like Charlie Brown, and then you pull the football away. No, I'm kidding. Because then you actually give them the football, which is the open question. And what is an open question? It is one that they can't answer with one word. And we have 3 friends for this, which are what, how, and why. Why, depending on the person, you need to be careful, because why can sound like you're interrogating, because. But what, how, and why, they usually, why and how pretty much definitely. And what, depending on how you frame it, you can get these bigger answers. And once you do that, they're in. Number 3, the follow-up question. You listen. We have 2 ears for a reason. You listen to their answer, and you use something from their answer to ask a follow-up question. And if you do that, that's your English practice for the day. You're golden. All right? So practice that. And I gave you some small talk locations if you want to practice. And our talking point this week was Children's Week. And I heard some good stories about my students and how they celebrated Children's Week back then. But that's what I've got for you. Team, like always, thank you. And I hope to see you in class. Have a good one.